Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
PROPHECast is produced by Bobgrenville. Thank you, Bob.
I'm flaccid.
Yeah, you're a little flaccid.
I'm a little flaccid today. I don't know. It's one of those days, man.
That should be our opener. Is that going to be our opener to this?
It can be, yeah.
All right, good. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the PROPHECast.
The PROPHECast.
It's a show. It's a podcast where we talk about the prophecy films.
Yeah.
Hence the name. You put prophecy and podcast together, and you get
PROPHECast.
Yeah, you get some fucking wordplay. You know, we're really making the effort here.
Yeah, we're going the extra mile for you guys, and I don't think that you're giving us enough credit.
Exactly. I'm one of your hosts, David Bell.
I am a second host, Tom Ryman.
And this is brought to you by one of our patrons, who is the producer of this podcast. Shout out to Bobgrenville.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah, our producer. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we, if you haven't already, you could go back and watch with your ears our Prophecy 1, where we neither of us, for context, neither of us have watched any of these films, right?
No, and I thought there was an entirely different movie going into it. Like I didn't know it was like a biblical mythology movie. I thought it was like about wizards.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I knew it was biblical. Like it was like biblical thriller. It seems like it's right down my alley, but I never bothered to watch these. I knew Christopher Walken was in the first one. Didn't realize he was in a lot of them, including this, The Prophecy 2.
Yeah.
Which is directed by Greg Spence, who...
Sure.
The first one was the director of Highlander.
The writer-director of Highlander, yes.
This is from the director of one other film, Children of the Corn, The Gathering.
Yeah, no, this guy's coming from a pretty solid pedigree.
Yeah. Let's see. It's got... Who wrote this? I'm curious now. The director co-wrote it, as well as Matt Greenberg. I'm a fan of Matt Greenberg. I'm just learning. Matt Greenberg has also written Halloween H2O, Reign of Fire.
Sure.
And the adaptations of 1408 and Pet Sematary, the new one.
The 2019 one, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man.
I guess I like Matt Greenberg.
And this was quite a shocker, this film, Prophecy 2. I don't know if anybody listening has watched it. There's a very good chance that exactly 100% of the people listening to this has never seen the Prophecy 2.
That's a pretty good possibility.
Yeah. And so I guess we should do our first of 3 sections, Tom, if you recall we have sections.
I did not recall that we had sections. Right.
Well, let me just run these by you real quick.
Sure.
Our first section is called the Holy Text. Mm-hmm. It's going to be us just talking about the film.
Mm-hmm. No, that sounds like a good section.
Yeah, just going through what happened in the film, and so on and so forth. The second one is called What the Hell, which is where we reserve all our questions about why this world is what it is.
Yeah, about why anything happens at all in this movie.
Yes, which I'm happy to report. This section remains relevant in this film as well.
It sure does, Dave.
And I have a feeling it'll continue to.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I've already changed the title for this one. Our third section might as well be Walking on the Sun, in which we just talk about Christopher Walken for as long as we need to.
Yeah. Which could be an hour, could be 2 hours, it could be several weeks.
Yep, this is true. So let's start with the holy
Whost
text.
among us can say.
Yeah. I want to talk about the cast of this movie was a very big surprise. Specifically, the disturbing amount of cool Gen Xers.
Yeah. The cast in this movie is out of control.
Yeah. Ethan Embry shows up.
Yeah, for like 3 seconds.
Yep. Brittany Murphy has a prominent
Brittany
role.
Murphy has a major role, yeah, as his little gremlin.
Yeah, as this little gremlin. I would say she's killing it in this role.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
love her in this role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like if you watch The Prophecy, the first one, who was it? It was
Adam Goldberg.
Adam Goldberg. So like this series has like a weird like streak of like Gabriel's henchmen being like cool Gen Xers.
Yeah, being like notable character actors from Gen X.
Yeah, from like teen movies.
Yeah.
That's really disturbing to me. I don't know why they're doing
It's
that.
pretty bitchin'.
Yep. Eric Roberts shows up as John Travolta's Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And we should probably talk about the Danzig in the room.
Yeah, there's a whole ass Danzig that shows up.
Glenn Danzig's in this film.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't expect that.
No, indeed, nobody expected that. Because he's under some makeup. So I didn't immediately notice it was him until partway through that fight scene. And then I was like,
yes.
wait.
At first, I was like, is that Steven Dorff? And then I looked at it a little longer and I was like, that's not Glenn Danzig, is it?
Danzig, is it? Friends, it is Glenn Danzig.
This is there's a movie in post-production that's going to change this. This is his only feature film role ever.
Huh.
I just looked at his acting.
Really?
He's in Portlandia, and he will be in a movie called Death Rider in the House of Vampires, featuring Devon Sawa.
Sure.
So
I guess we have to watch that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Any guesses on who directed Death Rider in the House of Vampires?
Was it Glenn Danzig?
It was. It was Glenn Danzig. Can you guess who wrote?
I had a feeling it was Glenn Danzig.
Yeah. Can you guess who wrote Death Rider in the House of Vampires?
Let me think. Was it Glenn Danzig?
It was.
What? It made sense that it would be Glenn Danzig.
The cast of this, Lee Ving of the band Fear, is in this.
Mr. Body himself.
Mr. Body himself. Good fucking God. So yeah, Danzig briefly shows up in this movie only to get his heart ripped out.
Yeah, by the bad guy from Romeo Must Die.
Jesus, that's who that is? Mm-hmm. This movie's a fucking mess.
This movie is a real kaleidoscope. Let me tell you.
It really is. Kenny Bania.
Yeah, Kenny Bania from Seinfeld. I think he's the only returning actor aside from Christopher Walken from the first movie.
That's wild.
Because the guy that gets burned alive in the beginning is supposed to be Elias Koteas from the first
it's supposed
movie,
to be Casey Jones,
which I didn't realize until halfway through the film.
Yeah,
because I didn't remember the character's name was Thomas, and it's not. This is super not Elias Koteas.
Yeah, like, they got to get rid of him. They get around Vigo not being in here by just not showing his face.
Yeah, they don't show the devil, and they get a guy that kind of sounds like Vigo.
Yeah. We should probably explain what the plot is. This is basically the plot of Terminator, down to the ending.
Yeah. I literally said while I was watching it, when the Daniel character dies, I was like, well, yeah, he was going to Kyle Reese his way out of this.
Yeah. Not to mention that apparently all angels look like they've been sent back in time to save Sarah Connor.
Yeah, they're all wearing like 3.5 trench coats.
Yeah, they look like 80s drummers. Like, they're ridiculous looking.
Yeah, they look pretty sweet. They all look like they're posing for the back of a Collective Soul album.
Yeah. It's a choice.
Yeah, it is a choice because this movie was made in 1998.
Yes. Doesn't feel like it was.
It really doesn't.
That actually, as you said that just washed over me. and I was thinking about movies made in 1998. Holy shit. Like, The Matrix is 1 year away.
Yeah, we're a year away from The Matrix.
Wild. This feels like it was, I don't know, 89 at the latest.
This feels like early 90s.
That's wow.
Yeah, it's something. It's really incredible.
That is oh my God. So the plot of this is it takes place in LA. I know we had a question of whether or not it was LA in the first one. It's definitely LA.
It's 1,000% LA in this one, yeah. To the point where the Garden of Eden is apparently an oil field just on the outskirts of LA County.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions about the Garden of Eden. But we'll save that for the next
We'll get there.
section.
We'll get there, yeah.
Gabriel is brought back by Satan.
Mm-hmm.
He kisses the ground. He kisses his hand and touches the ground, and the ground
yeah.
melts. Dog's very concerned. So that's Satan. And then we meet Daniel. Did you watch this with the captions?
Yes.
Oh, you see his name spelt out too. His name's spelled like a fucking millennial.
Yeah, it's spelled like some real goth shit.
Yeah, it's Dan like Yeal.
Ael, yeah.
Yeah. He also and so he gets hit by a car. This lady he falls out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady hits him with the car.
He falls out of the sky and lands in a car like Dave Chappelle's corpse in Con Air.
Yes. Yeah. And she's concerned. I think she drives him to the hospital.
Yeah, and
I don't think she calls an ambulance.
She drives him to the hospital and is a doctor at the hospital.
Right.
So that's lucky.
And then, yeah. And then they raw duck.
They sure do. Like he walks her home, and they have just powerful sex.
Like weird demon sex, but he's an angel.
Right, and she's like having flashes of like the angel war, and he like stops in the middle of just pounding her raw to ask, "Do you accept me?" Which is
right.
Like, if somebody stops you in the middle of sex to ask, "Do you accept me?" the answer is always no.
Yeah, it's okay. So I've made a mistake.
Right, that's some kind of vampire trick.
Yeah. Yeah, this is about a young lady who makes a mistake. She hits a man with her car, and within a day is having unprotected sex with this man.
Hours.
He like purposefully asks her only about herself, and every time she asks him questions, he deflects.
Yeah, he
redirects
it. Yeah.
Yeah. A giant red flag landed on her car, and she fucks him. I love the moment where after the post-coital, he's perched naked over her bed like an erotic gargoyle.
Yeah.
And then she's sleeping.
And then he gives her the 2-finger bless and just flaps out of there like a nude gremlin.
Yep. Yeah, his balls just dangling.
Yep. He's probably screeching like a crow.
Yeah. Can you imagine filming that scene?
No, I cannot.
A lot of the angels do a lot more like
perching.
Crouching. Yeah, perching.
It was a thing in the first movie, but they do the shit out of it here. And like, can we talk about the scene in the hospital where
he impresses the kids?
He's dazzling the kids by balancing on the edge of a tipped over chair. And like the only thing I could think about during that scene is like half of these kids are going to break their fucking collarbones trying to do that later.
100%. Also, 100% of them also. Why would they be that impressed with it? They're like, wow.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a circus tumbler or something. Yeah, it's neat. It's neat. All right.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, before this point, we see Thomas again, Casey Jones.
Except it's not Casey Jones.
Yes, and he has a diary, and he's a monk. Christopher Walken visits him and lights his ass on fire.
He sure does.
So we get rid of that character.
Mm-hmm.
He lights him on fire using his weird prayer thing that his power he has.
Right. Christopher Walken has 3 abilities in these movies.
Yes.
He can set people on fire.
Yep.
He can put people to sleep.
Yep.
And he can raise the dead.
Yeah. And I have questions about other abilities, but we'll get to it.
I mean, he can also perch.
He can perch. They all have good balance.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So this lady, she gets blasted by this angel. he seems like horny for it. Like, I don't know. I guess that goes into the question of physiology of angels. But she is immediately pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
She, in like the same day she learns she's pregnant, and like mega pregnant, like she's in her second trimester.
Right. She's turbo pregnant.
Yeah.
Like he fired half of a baby into her.
Yes. And that same day she learns that the guy that she had unprotected sex with also yanked Glenn Danzig's heart out.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's an alleyway fight with Danzig. He shows up. I think he's Samuel with a Y.
Samael.
Is his character's name? Sure.
Samael.
He shows up for one scene. The guy blasts out the window. They fight in the air.
Yeah, they do some real
Danzig
Twilight vampire fighting.
Yes. Danzig gets taken out pretty quickly.
Yeah, more quickly than he should, being Glenn Danzig.
For Danzig, yeah.
Yeah. This scene has 4 characters in it, and 3 of them were very hard to tell apart.
I had to rewind, actually.
Yeah.
Because he's talking...
Yeah.
He's talking to the one that looks most like an 80s drummer, who has like shaggy, long brown hair.
Right.
And then it cut to Danzig in the alleyway, and he has long hair, and it's darkly lit. And then he jumps out, and they don't show Danzig jump up, so he just like tackles the guy in the middle, in the air in the alleyway. So it felt like I was watching... I thought Danzig was the same guy he was just talking to.
Yeah, it was... that fight scene is very confusingly edited and shot.
Yes. It's almost like it's a bad movie.
You could look at this scene and you would say it feels like this scene is from a bad movie full of more bad scenes.
Luckily it's an 80-minute movie. So,
yes.
You know. Brittany Murphy, we meet Brittany Murphy, and she has some sort of...
She is in a murder-suicide pact.
Yes.
With her sad sack of a boyfriend. They're
with
both
some wiener. Yeah.
They're both gothed out of their minds.
Yes. And their suicide pact is to drive directly at a wall.
Hold on.
The car.
You forgot the first part of their suicide pact, which is to spray paint their names on that wall.
Right.
And then drive the car into him. And then she
it's
says...
some real Romeo and Juliet shit.
This scene is so out of the blue, out of its goddamn mind. It's just... We meet these characters. She finishes spray painting. She comes running in the car. He's holding a crucifix and murmuring a prayer. And then she goes like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "If this is the only way I can be with you, then yes." It's not clear why they're doing this.
Right. So that was the first thing. I was like, are they going to fuck in this car? And then the only way I can be with you. So it was like, is she doing this to him? Like, is she like, you can't be with me, we have to drive into this wall?
I guess.
Is it an actual Romeo and Juliet sitch where like their parents forbid them?
Mm-hmm. Each of their parents blames the other kid for getting their kid into goth.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not allowed to hang out with that goth boy anymore.
It's unclear. It appears to be the ending of its own movie.
Right. It's an entirely different movie we cut to.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm too busy going, is that fucking Brittany Murphy?
I'll tell you what, Dave, it sure is.
Yeah. And so she drives as fast as she can into the wall. This will be the first of 2 times this happens to her.
This character drives a car into a wall.
Yeah. And her boyfriend dies. Mm-hmm. And she's near death, which apparently is... I didn't realize this. Christopher Walken can't bring you back from the dead.
Right. He has to intervene like right when you're on the precipice.
Right. And so Christopher Walken shows up and he's like, yeah, you're my slave now. And so for the rest of the film, we get Brittany Murphy and Christopher Walken
as a duo, and it's exactly like it sounds.
Yes. In that it sounds great.
Yes.
So he's hunting down... He's the Terminator.
He's the T-1000, yeah. Oh, no, wait. No, he's the Terminator from the first movie.
He's the Terminator, yeah. What's her name? Jennifer Beals is...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Flashdance is Jennifer Beals.
Yes, we didn't mention that.
Yeah, we did. It took us this long to mention that the main character of this film is Flashdance is Jennifer Beals.
Good fucking God. So she's all prego. And so she's Sarah Connor. And then the angel who knocked her up is John Connor. And so basically it's Christopher Walken going after her.
This is all correct.
Yeah, and so it ends in in Eden, which looks like a factory.
It looks suspiciously like a factory in Yugoslavia.
Yes. The angel dies, and then so it's up to her, and she ends up jumping. She ends up impaling Christopher Walken, and then Michael, played by Eric Roberts, who isn't helping.
No, his character. Okay,
makes him mortal.
We're gonna get that into a lot in next section.
Yeah, I'm realizing there's a lot more in the next section, which is why I'm like, okay, I guess I should probably just blow through this.
Fucking Eric Roberts stars as the Archangel Michael, whose sole job seems to be lighting candles on a catwalk in this factory. Yes. That's all he does.
That's all he does.
That's the only thing he does in this movie.
So yeah, that's the movie.
Pretty much, yeah. She beats Walken, and then as punishment, Eric Roberts turns him into a human. So at the end of the movie, he's just a homeless man on the curb with his trumpet.
Right. Let's get into the next section then.
Sure.
The next section being what the hell.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of questions, Tom.
Well, I think there's something we left, an important detail about the very end of the movie that we left out that needs to be mentioned because it will also serve as a great segue into the question, what the hell? And that is spooky god face in the clouds at the very end of the movie.
Yes. The lightning flashes and it's a spooky god face.
Spooky god
or a devil face.
Or the devil, but why would the devil be in the sky? That doesn't make sense.
Here's a question. Why would the devil let Gabriel out?
His explanation is that this isn't my war and hell isn't big enough for the two of us. That's all he says.
Okay.
I guess the devil just got tired of Gabriel.
Yeah, that sure sounds like horse shit.
Like a shitty roommate. He's like, listen, man, you gotta go.
Yeah.
My girlfriend really doesn't like you, man.
That pretty much is it, because he wanted Gabriel to be in hell before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's just like, you know what? I changed my mind.
Yep.
I don't care. Like in the first movie, he cared that Gabriel was waging this war, and this time he's like, nah, never mind.
I don't care.
So what? We talked about this a little bit in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really trying to wrap my head around like what is Gabriel?
There's the biggest thing about this movie. I think this movie was a little easier to watch than the first movie was.
It's less confusing.
It's less confusing, yeah, because they just don't talk about the shit that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, it's less disorienting. Like the plot made sense. It was like this to this to this.
You're
to
right.
This.
It was a pretty straightforward chase movie.
Yes.
And the main thing that doesn't make sense here is they talk about how important Jennifer Beals' kid is going to be because he's going to be a Nephilim. Which if you've played Diablo 3, you know that the holy text of Diablo 3. No, it's a half human, half angel.
Okay.
And Gabriel doesn't want that shit. I forget why. But he keeps talking about how like the angel will be like the best of both because the Nephilim will be the best of both because it'll be an angel with free will.
Right.
Sure seems like Gabriel has free will.
Right. That is extremely true.
Mm-hmm. Sure,
I'm not sure.
Sure seemed like, I don't know, the devil had free will.
Yeah. I mean, Gabriel's just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
He's just doing what he wants to. He's having a war against God.
Yeah, I don't... that
doesn't make any sense to me.
No. His motivation, none of the motivations, the war, none of that makes any sense.
No, I get his motivation. His motivation is it's the same motivation as Satan. It's like the God likes humans more than angels. That's bullshit. I want it to go back to the way it was when there weren't any humans and he just loved us. Like I get that. That's
right.
Whether how much water that holds is another conversation, but I understand that motivation.
Yeah. That's fair. The motivation I don't understand is Michael.
Yes.
Because he's like, Eric Roberts shows up at the end, and he's Michael, and he's like, welcome to our war. This is our war. We're fighting a war. And then Gabriel shows up, and he's like, I need to kill this lady. And he's like, I won't stop you. Nobody will stop you. It's up to her now. And it's like, what?
Yeah, why?
Why? And he lets him in, and all the angels watch as this woman has to fight back against Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's no reason why they do that.
Yeah,
they act like it's some mysterious reason, like, no, she has to do this. But it's like, didn't you just say this is a war and he's on the other side?
Yeah, I don't know. And this is me doing the movie's work for it.
Yeah.
The only thing I could come up with is the way she beats Gabriel is they're at their oil derrick construction site standoff, dangling, I don't know, 30 stories up in the air. And she asks him, like, he kind of spouts out his motivation one more time, and then she asks him, well, when was the last time God spoke to you? And he's like, it's been a while. And he's like, well, see, God speaks to me all the time. The thing is you've stopped listening. Like, I can hear him right now. And then like that like really throws him off. And he's like, he like gets in close, and he's like, oh, what's he saying to you? What does he say? And she says fall, and grabs Gabriel and just falls over backwards.
Doesn't she say jump?
She says jump. That's right. She says jump.
Like the song.
Mm-hmm. Ironically, the setting of Eden looks like a place where they would have filmed a Van Halen music video.
It's very true.
Or like a Megadeth or Poison video. She grabs him and falls over, and falls like, however many, a good long way, lands completely unhurt. So
God saves her.
Right, like right before that, she says, if God wanted me to die, he would have let you kill me already. So I guess the point is, like, it's God's will that none of the other angels do anything because Gabriel's going to get beat anyway. I don't know. Again, that's me doing the movie's work for it.
Yes, that's as much sense as it makes.
Because they don't say anything. Like Christopher Walken's laying there impaled on a fence. And Eric Roberts just walks up and says, I'm going to give you the biggest punishment ever. You're now a person. And he takes away his angel neck tattoo.
Right. So
his ceremonial neck tattoo.
Yes. Question. I know we discussed the powers, but he says you're now a person. He's kind of a person. Like, okay, he does have powers, but I was very confused about a lot of things with Gabriel of how he functions. For one, the movie opens with him tracking down Casey Jones, and he kind of like did you get the impression he like teleports into rooms?
He can like fly in there.
Can he? Can he fly, Tom? That's one of my questions.
We see it.
What evidence do we have? Is it how he drives around in an Oldsmobile all the time?
How he gets
like
driven
a private
around
detective?
in an Oldsmobile.
Yeah. That like this is what it is. He found Casey Jones and he does I lit you on fire. So he appears to be a supernatural being, and we talked about this in the first one. Then he spends the rest of the movie having to do like detective stuff.
Yeah, and get driven around.
He goes to a dry cleaner and has to make up an excuse for them to look up the person he's tracking, and then tries to use the computer himself and can't, and has to resurrect Brittany Murphy to like look something up on the computer. He later steals a police radio, doesn't know what it is, and then uses it to listen to crimes that might relate to the person he's looking for.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
He also doesn't know how to use a gun.
Yes. He's an angel.
And that seems weird.
And so that's why, like, he keeps that whenever they show him, he's like perched and he's up on something high, or he's in someone's room, and you're like, how'd he get there? But then when we follow him, he appears to just be a person.
Right. He's just getting driven around.
Yeah, and we know, like, the other angel, Daniel, he shows his wings.
Yeah, and I think we see Danzig land.
Right.
Like, we see a couple of angels fly. We just never see Walken specifically fly. But I guess we can assume he flies.
Well, you know what would be a good time to fly?
When you're looking for someone?
Yes, or when someone pushes you off of a very high place and you're going to be impaled on a fence.
That's true.
Go ahead and fly there, Christopher Walken.
Maybe he was so floored by that knowledge she dropped on him.
Right. I don't understand what Gabriel can and can't do. He also apparently has no job skills because he ends up on the street at the end.
Dave, he didn't know how a radio worked. Like he could.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, he didn't know. He didn't know what a radio was.
Yes, why doesn't he know these things?
I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't. It's clear he doesn't like people. Maybe he just doesn't pay attention to Earth.
Right. You know what also will take him down? Bullets, apparently. Will knock him out for a bit.
Yeah, that'll take him out for a bit.
She hits him with a pipe at one point. That seems to do it.
Yeah.
It's just the limitations of this character continue to delight me. Because I can't figure him out. He has Brittany Murphy run her down in a car. Brittany Murphy buckles her seatbelt.
And he doesn't.
And I assume that's because he's an angel. And then he goes flying through the windshield.
For the second time in the series, he goes sailing headlong through a windshield.
And he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
When is he going to learn?
I don't know.
Like, this is what I mean where they're like, you're now damned to be human. It's like, as far as I can tell, he's somewhat human already.
He's pretty, he has, and this is true of all the angels, they have like the shittiest form of invulnerability.
Yeah.
Because it's like things still fuck them up and hurt them and knock them out. But it's just like, but the only way you can kill them is by ripping their hearts out. It's like, all right.
Right. It's a miracle they're all still walking around.
Yeah, how the hell did any of these guys live for thousands of years?
Right. Because it's not the way they're living, it's not hard to damage that heart eventually.
Mm-mm.
Like that car accident could have done it. It's just the rules to these angels are baffling. And what they know. Like he doesn't seem to have any divine knowledge. Like if she didn't set off the silent alarm in that church, he wouldn't have found her.
That's true.
Yeah. I also really like where Daniel drops, he won't kill you in a church, which, way to bury the lead. But also Daniel didn't know, he can still hurt you and drag you out of the church, because that's what we learn he can do.
Yeah, there's two parts to that. I have two notes for Daniel in that particular statement. One, right. As we just pointed out, he can just drag her out of the church. Like, right. Why wouldn't he just do that? And two, how sure are you that he won't kill her in a church?
Right. Is it like a magic? Again, I don't know what the rules are. Is he like, can he not physically do that? Because he can sure as hell drag her out of the church and hurt her in the church. So maybe he can kill her in the church? Is it just that he's like, he doesn't like killing people in churches? Is that the idea?
Maybe it is. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I need to know the rules. Because Daniel has wings. So I assume Gabriel has wings.
Yeah, you would assume.
Why doesn't he just, like, say when he's chasing her in the car, why didn't he just chase her in his wings and then pick her up and drop her from really high up?
I'm going to tell you why, Dave.
Why?
Because this movie had a budget of $4 million.
Okay. That's fair.
That's why. Fair. That's why we never actually see any of the angels' wings either. We see them in silhouette.
Yes, they do not have the...
they don't have wing
budget. The budget to show.
We don't have wing money here.
No, there's no wing money. But, like, I would say you kind of need wing money if you're making a movie like this.
Yeah.
Like, Dogma had wing money.
True. Dogma came out the next year.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't understand Gabriel. Do you have any? I have one other big question.
Sure.
But do you have any like lingering questions?
I'm trying to think. I felt like there might have been one.
There's a big one.
Yeah. Okay. Lay it on me.
I want to talk about the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Garden of Eden.
It looks like the opening to Blade Runner.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks.
Is this supposed to be?
It looks like the Cursed Earth and Judge Dredd.
It really does. So this is supposed to be the Garden of Eden?
Yes, yeah.
And it's in Southern California?
It's in Southern California. You know, the birthplace of humanity.
Holy shit. Yeah. SoCal. All right.
Eden's in L.A. County. Okay.
That's interesting.
That's a choice.
Okay, yeah, there's a part where Brittany Murphy goes to eat an apple, and Gabriel's like, don't eat that, trust me. So,
I mean, if he's referring to the Bible and like the fruit of knowledge, no, eat that shit.
Right.
Like you already got kicked out. He can't kick you out again.
Right. I don't know from Bible, but like, isn't the idea that God was like, don't touch my shit, and he kicked him out?
There was one fruit you weren't supposed to eat.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So you could eat all the other fruit?
As far as I know.
Not the apple.
Yeah, or whatever it was. I don't think it was specifically an apple until John Milton wrote Paradise Lost. I think in the Bible it's just a generic fruit. I'm not positive.
Okay.
I'm not a Bible scholar.
So it could have been like a kiwi?
Sure. It could have been a kumquat.
Yep. Or like a pineapple?
Yeah, it could have been like a real shitty pineapple.
Yeah, God was like, don't eat that. Why? It's gross, man.
It's like a pain in the ass. You ever seen pineapples, man?
Yeah.
You got to really want the pineapple.
Okay, so, but in this, it's an apple. In this, I was just gonna say, like, being like, don't eat that. Like they turned Eden into the fucking Restless Heart music video.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know why he would mind, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so it's infested with angels.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
So it's Eden
looking
California.
looking like they're about to hand you a flyer to an open mic at a coffee shop.
Yes, 100%. So do they live there?
I don't know.
Okay, so I have a few questions. So it's the Garden of Eden, but he says like humans turned it into this.
This is what humans turned it into, yeah.
Right.
And also,
first of all, we didn't know it was the Garden of Eden. It was just some property.
Right, yeah, why would we know that? Also, like all of the factories and refineries we see in Eden are in operation?
Yes.
So there's people there too, just working.
That was going to be my question. Is, do the angels work there?
Yeah, the angels working in the factories?
Do they live there? Do they own the property?
Yeah.
Is this like, do the cops know they're there? Yeah, because there's got to be people working there.
You would assume.
Like during the day, it's got to just be a regular factory town. Does some fucking guy come in every day and be like, who the fuck keeps lighting these candles? Fuck, I have to clean these candles every day. Where are they pooping? We know they sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have sleeping bags.
Mm-hmm.
They fuck. They apparently have sex urges.
Mm-hmm.
They have sperm.
Yeah.
So what are they doing there? And they're like flying around all like in the clouds and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Are they just like pests there?
Yeah, I guess.
They're like, angels, get the broom.
There's like a bunch of pigeons shitting all over everything.
What are they doing there? What is that? What is the story of that fucking place?
I don't know. What could they possibly be doing?
The movie makes you, it asks a lot of us in this moment.
Yeah, this is a big ask.
Yeah, because
it also when you're talking about it reveals the angels in the sky. Those are apparently the angels on Gabriel's side, because he's like looks like we've got the numbers, and then he gestures above him and we see all the angels.
Yeah.
So it's like, have they been just in the sky the whole time? Are they like in a holding in an attack formation? Like what's going on up there?
Also, yeah, what's going on up there? Because they don't get involved.
Are they dodging aircraft? Like
he says, like the war ends tonight.
Yeah.
And then none of them
none of them fight.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I don't know what's going on. There's so many questions where they blast you in the face with like, this is the Garden of Eden. It's in Southern California. Yeah. We're all hanging out here. The factory is working. There's angels above us. We're not going to get involved though. It's not our fight, but it's our war. Why? And it's like, I am so confused.
Why does the Garden of Eden look like a tax shelter?
Right. Oh,
just a bunch of shitty refineries.
Yeah.
What is this?
What are they making there?
What is this?
What the fuck? That's it. That's my final question, and clearly we don't have answers.
No, we do not have an answer for this.
Should we get to our final section?
Sure.
All right, let's get to Might As Well Be Walking on the Sun.
What is this section?
It's just to talk about Christopher Walken.
Oh, just talk about how incredible he is? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to read the only piece of IMDb trivia on this movie.
Okay.
And it concerns Christopher Walken.
Okay.
It says, Christopher Walken was robbed at the airport in Venice, and his The Prophecy 2 script, glasses, keys, driver's license, and $100 were stolen. All items were later found, including the script, except for the money. So he was robbed of all of his belongings, and they returned the Prophecy 2 script.
That's so good.
They were like, we don't need this.
They skimmed it, and they're like, oof, we should. Can you
like
imagine
they get
the
it
money back too, and they're like, I feel bad for this guy. Shit.
He gets it back, and there's like notes in it. Like the thief is giving him notes.
Then I'm just like, I don't understand. Are you saying the Garden of Eden is in Southern California? That doesn't make any sense. Oh my God, that's beautiful. They returned the script. They were like, this is worthless. Oh, what great information.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to almost seeing Christopher Walken's anus.
We see a whole lot of his ass.
A whole lot of his ass. And he's like spread eagle on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like in a weird crouch.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like when he crawled out of hell, it was like, oh my God, that naked ass has to be Christopher Walken. Also big shout out to Christopher Walken not understanding computers.
That's the finest moment of this movie.
It could be the whole movie. I could watch that for days.
It's hard to overstate the impact of watching Christopher Walken walk in to a dry cleaner, clumsily try to hustle the guy, then just knock him out with angel magic. And
he says, I'm looking for my friend. And then the guy talks to him a little bit, and he's like, "You see, I'm for family." And he's like, "You just said he was my friend." And he says something like, "Oh, you caught me." And then he knocks him out.
Yeah. And then he tries to work the computer for like 3 seconds, and then throws it across the room. Goes and resurrects Brittany Murphy and brings her immediately back to that dry cleaner. All he has her do is type a 4-digit number in and press enter. Right. It's like, and you couldn't have figured that out yourself.
It's so perfect because it's just like helping a boomer parent where he's standing behind her, like looking over her shoulder while she's doing it for him, and he's so helpless.
Yeah, he has no idea how to use it.
He has no idea, and she's like sarcastic. Like, can you imagine dying and having the angel Gabriel resurrect you and say, I need you to help me with a login on a computer?
Yeah, I need you to help me use a computer. Like,
fucking
brings you back from the dead so he can check his email.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to check my email.
Yeah.
My inbox is getting overwhelming.
That is a plot point of this movie.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I loved everything with Christopher Walken and Brittany Murphy. The first thing he says to her, and it's one of the best lines of the movie, is he resurrects her. She's like gasping and confused, and he goes, "Hi, nice hair."
Yeah, hi.
How fucking perfect.
Like, I remember before knowing what the series was and just seeing like the boxes in Blockbuster and whatnot, being really confused at why Christopher Walken would do 3 of these movies, because this one and The Prophecy 3 are direct to video, like really, really bottom shelf stuff, and it's like, why on earth? Because Christopher Walken's never really been at like a low point in his career. Like even during this time in the mid '90s, he was still getting big roles and things.
Yeah, he doesn't need these movies.
No. So it's like, I was like, why is he in this? And then you watch the movies, you're like, oh, he's in this because he's just having a fucking blast.
Yeah, because he gets to play the angel Gabriel, walking around doing whatever the fuck he feels like.
Right. I feel like,
There's a scene where someone walks into a room, turns around, and he's perched on their dresser.
Yes.
And can you imagine that sight?
What would that be like to you?
Yeah. What would that do to you, really?
Yeah, I was going to say I feel like, but I'm going to retract that and retract that and say I can guarantee nobody gave him any direction in this movie. He's like, no, I'm going to do a thing.
Yeah.
And then he just does whatever. I get very Alan Rickman as Sheriff of Nottingham vibes from this. He's just doing whatever the fuck he wants to in this movie.
I imagine between takes, the director who's done Children of the Corn, like the straight-to-video Children of the Corn sequel, walking up to Christopher Walken like, okay, Christopher, that was great. Listen, and Christopher Walken just turning around and walking away. And the director being like, that's great. Yeah, no, that's great, Chris, that's great. And walking away. Because what are they going to do? Fire him?
Yeah.
They need him more than they need anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I imagine he did whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yes.
The scene in the diner.
The scene in the diner is amazing.
He gives Brittany Murphy a gun, and he's like, "Go ahead, shoot yourself or something."
No. He gives her the gun on the radio. He's like, "Show me how to make." Right. He gives her the gun and says, "Show me how to make that work," and then gives her the radio and is basically says the same thing. It's like, "Explain to me how that works." And
she turns the gun on herself.
Yeah.
And shoots herself and can't die. And MVP of the movie is the guy working at the diner who peeks his head out very calmly, like, what the...
Is that a gunshot?
And then sees that she's still alive and sees that she's talking to Christopher Walken, and he just slowly makes his way to the phone. And what does Christopher Walken say to him?
I think he says, "Take it easy."
Yeah, so he puts up a finger and goes like, "Take it easy."
Yeah.
And the guy slowly puts down
and the guy hangs the phone back up and goes into the back.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I guess I'm just going to get back to doing prep work back here.
Yeah. No magic spells. This guy is just like, you know what? Not my problem. I'll clean up the blood, I guess. This movie for me was worth just watching Brittany Murphy and Christopher Walken. I want more movies. I wish there were more movies where these two just were buddies. Like, just watching these two go on adventures, that should be a TV show.
Yeah, it's a shame she's not in any more of these.
Yes. She isn't, so we know that, right? I assume she wouldn't be because she...
nobody else is.
No, this is, if you're a Brittany Murphy fan, watch this movie. It's great, Brittany Murphy. And Brittany Murphy and fucking Christopher Walken. Like, I kind of enjoyed this movie, Tom.
I didn't hate it. It was very watchable. I think I liked it more than the first one.
Me too.
Even though it's missing some stuff that the first one has, like the heel clickingly delightful Viggo Mortensen performance.
Viggo, it would have been nice to have Viggo in this.
Yeah.
It's 80 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or like 83 minutes or so. I don't know. It's under 90 minutes. It's got Christopher Walken's ass. It's got Christopher Walken and Brittany Murphy doing like scenes together and like bits.
Yeah, they have bits.
It's got Glenn Danzig.
It does have Glenn Danzig with like light vampire makeup. Like they gave him like a weird demon brow.
Yeah, he's like a ghoul.
He's a real ghoul. It's the role he was born to play, honestly. Yeah. It's a real ghoul.
It really is. And it's apparently the only goddamn...
How can that be the only feature film performance of Glenn Danzig? That's so weird.
I don't think he's a very good actor.
No, but like this, he's not the only one. He's not a very good actor. Like this,
if I were making a movie,
stunt casting alone of throwing Danzig into a movie like this.
If I were making a movie, I'd throw Danzig in that movie 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, has he played himself in movies?
Maybe he's played himself on like Aqua Teen.
Yes. And he's been in some, again, Portlandia. He's been in like TV shows, but I don't think you don't take Glenn Danzig and you say, I want you to be a character.
No,
I want you to dive into.
He's just Danzig.
Right. He has 35 acting credits, but they're all for his music videos.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of them, just stuck out in 1998.
Just right in the middle is the Prophecy 2. Dave, would you believe if I told you that this movie was filmed in 1996?
That makes more sense.
But still not complete sense.
Still not complete sense.
But it makes more sense.
Yeah.
It was filmed in late 96 and released in January of 98.
Yeah. So just looking at some credits here, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, who do you suppose is the cinematographer and editor for Death Rider in the House of Vampires?
Let's see. Thinking about the movie's subject matter and the related genre and kind of who's really working within that genre right now. Is it Glenn Danzig?
It is Glenn Danzig.
See, I thought it might be.
Yeah. I can't wait for this movie.
Veronica is on Shudder right now.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that piece of shit.
That absolute trash fire.
I can't wait. Holy smokes.
Fucking Danzig.
Yeah. Fucking Danzig. I can't believe he's in this.
Right, and it's like a blink and you miss him cameo.
Yeah. It's not, he's just like, that's what it was, whereas like, is that Danzig? No, of course it wouldn't be Danzig. He's barely in the movie. Why would that be Danzig? And then you look it up and you're like, it's Danzig.
That is 100% Glenn Danzig.
The fuck? This movie is an enigma. And I love it.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, this movie's a real, this is the best kind of bad movie.
Yeah, I feel bad that we're spoiling who's in it, because it definitely just skip over the beginning credits. Not that it reveals Danzig or anything, but just let the movie wash over you, and just like, it's best to just like be surprised of who shows up.
Right,
in this movie.
It's best to just keep getting punched in the head by when people show up. You're like, what the fuck is that, Danzig? And they're like, is it Brittany Murphy?
Yeah, what the absolute
what the
fuck
shit is happening? Eric Roberts?
Yeah. Ethan Embry trying on Christopher Walken's coat.
Christopher Walken's coat?
The absolute fuck is that?
Man.
It's great. Great film. 5 stars.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. I can't wait
any
for the
other
next
final
one.
thoughts?
No.
No, I can't wait for the next one. This movie made me go like, thank you, Prophecy. I will have another. Yes. Please.
Yeah. Give me a bunch of these.
Yeah. If they're anything like this movie, I can't fucking wait. Yeah. So I don't know. Thank you to Bobgrenville for tasking us with this endeavor.
Yeah. For forcing us to watch these movies.
Yeah. I suspect this is where we peak Prophecy 2, but who can say? So I don't know. If people are interested, you should check out our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. And yeah, we have a tier where you can produce entire podcast series or just produce episodes of We Just Watched.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can watch movies with us. For our $10 tier, every Friday night we watch movies with our patrons. Maybe we'll watch a Prophecy.
We might watch one of these Danzig movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we probably should watch a Danzig movie.
Yeah. I don't know why we haven't already, to be honest.
I don't know. Fear?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, he's probably already on his way to one of our houses, because you can't, he's like Rumpelstiltskin. If you say his name too many times, he's going to appear in your house.
Right. Absolutely. And just like kind of creep you out.
Mm-hmm. We also have a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed, where you can get t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, all kinds of stuff. Check that out. Yeah, maybe we should add a written and directed by Glenn Danzig shirt. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe.
You remember we probably brought up his soup demands, right?
I think so.
Where he wanted, he was at like a music festival and he had demands for soup.
Mm-hmm.
He demanded French onion soup and vitamins be brought to his hotel.
Sure.
It was I don't know. It's a real old man story, but like, sometimes people need soup. I get it.
I mean,
Danzig wants soup.
Also, Danzig is an old man.
Yes.
I mean, those two things have aligned.
That's true.
Like he's reached old manness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He probably shouts at kids that are on his lawn now.
He probably has a lot of problems with computers. I would have to get some Brittany Murphy type to help him with it.
He probably has to resurrect some gothed out teen to help him use a computer.
I have a pitch real quick.
Mm-hmm.
3-hour long series, Danzig and Christopher Walken trying to work a computer.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the movie.
Yeah, no, this is great. It can be like it can be sort of like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, where they have to keep driving back to the Geek Squad at Best Buy to ask them different questions.
Danzig and Walken check their email.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Green lit. Oh, fuck. All right.
Tell your children how to check their mail. Whoa, mother.
Oh, perfect.
Fucking Danzig.
Oh my god.
The fact that Danzig is in a movie with Christopher Walken. They don't share any scenes, but my god, what a close call.
What a biggest near miss.
Yeah, this is the most tragic near miss in history.
I mean, if they had shaken hands, the universe would have exploded.
Yeah,
so we're lucky.
The reality wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah.
It would have collapsed around us, and we'd be in some weird multiverse where sharks wear hats.
Exactly.
Okay, I think that's it.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.